Hi Stampers, welcome to another Friday Facebook Live. I'm just gonna give it a minute or so anybody who wants to log in and watch live has a minute to do that. And I'll set up my computer here so I can see what you guys are seeing and your comments. Okay, let's see here. Hello for those of you joining me this morning. There we go. Good morning, Peggy. Nice to have you join us live. Okay, let's make this big so that I can see the comments. All right, so how's everybody doing this morning? Do you guys have a busy weekend planned? I know here in Edmonton, it is actually really cool this morning. I had to actually put on a sweater. It's the first time in a long time. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started because as you know, I like to keep this within half an hour, 45 minutes. So first thing I'm gonna do is draw for last week's winner. So last week we created this little gift card holder. And then the gift card just gets slid in there. So super, super cute. If you missed last week's video, you can find it on my Facebook page or on my blog, which is www.stamptreasures.com. I guess I should introduce myself for those of you who might be new. I'm Sherry Roth, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada. And I am happy to be here to craft live with you today. We've got a fun card that we're gonna create. Okay, so I'm gonna draw for last week's winner. And the way that you can get your name entered is by commenting on the Facebook Live or even on the replay. Or if you share the video, you get 5 entries for a share and 1 entry for each comment. Okay? And you have from today until next Thursday. And then I put everybody's name in and then draw next week on Facebook Live. So the winner, oh, look at that, Shara, you're the winner. So I will send that to you. Okay, so I'll pop that in the mail today or tomorrow. Let's get this out of the way here. So you can see you got a little bit of a different view here today. I'm actually in the process of a larger demonstrator event that we did yesterday, and then it's again tonight. So the other room that I use is full of displays, and then, so this is my classroom part. So I've got the tables all set up in the background. So I had to switch things around. So I'm hoping that the lighting will be okay when I turn the camera down to craft. I did bring one of my lights over, so I'm hoping that the shadows won't be too bad. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera down and we will go ahead and get started. Let's see here. Oh, what did I do? Check wand. Why is everything sideways now? I hope you guys did. I just switched it so that everything is sideways now. What did I do? Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go. Okay. Woo. I'm not really all that technologically inclined, so when things go wrong, it's not too fun. Okay, so my screen is a bit delayed. Are you guys seeing me going the right direction? I'm hoping so. Oh, Shara says, love those gift card holders. I have made 2 for my kiddos' teachers for the start of the year. Yay, that's good. Okay, so it's good now? All right. Okay. All right, so let's move this guy out of the way, my little cheat sheet. So this is what we're gonna create today. So it really doesn't look like much, but watch this. Oh, and of course it's not gonna work. Oh my goodness, I was playing with this earlier and it was working just fine. It's supposed to spin. That's why it's called a spinner card. It was working fabulous yesterday. Oh, the joys of live TV, hey? But anyways, it's supposed to spin. Why is this not working? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm going to show you how to create it, and hopefully when we create the other one, or the one today live, it will actually spin. Let me try. There we go. It's because I'm holding it too flat. Can you guys see that? See how it spins? Super, super cute. So I've got, Marcel's cousin has, well, she's got 2 kids. Some of you guys might figure out who I'm talking about. And her son's birthday is in September, actually the same day as Marcel's birthday. So this is going to be the card that we sent him for his birthday. So I'm going to show you how I created the clouds in the background, and then on the inside I've got some more clouds, and I did clouds on the envelope as well, and then sending birthday wishes. So it looks like it would be a complicated card, but you'll be amazed at how... Oh, is it still sideways? On my screen it looks fine. I wonder if we did this. Is that better? How's that? Now it's backwards. Oh my gosh, I am not having any luck. Okay, I wonder if, oh, now is it upside down? It's upside down for me. Backwards and sideways. So if we do that, is that better? I'm sorry, guys. I tell you, I hit the wrong button at one point, and it all switched it. So it's still sideways? Okay. And how's that? Is that still sideways? My comments are still going. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Maybe we should restart it backwards and sideways. Okay, so it's definitely not that one. Okay, and that looks like it's backwards. Okay, so for me, this looks like it's right on my screen. I don't know if I should just start this over or what. Just need to move, what did she say? Just need to move your camera, maybe? Okay, let's see. I'll try something. I gotta clear a space here. Let's try. I'm sorry for the wobbliness. If we do it like this, what are you guys seeing? Is that better or is that worse? That's better? Okay. All right, it doesn't look so good on my screen, but as long as you guys aren't watching it sideways or upside down or backwards, then that's all that matters. Okay, let's get into this. All right, so this card looks like it would be complicated to do, but you'll be amazed at how simple it is, okay? It's called a spinner card, and well, I'll explain where the idea for this came up in a little bit when I start coloring. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the clouds. So we are going to use this mask, which is from the Patterned Party Decorative Masks package. So in this package, there are 4 masks, I think. So there's the clouds. Here, let's put some white background here so you guys can see. Okay, so there's the clouds, which we're going to use today. There's also a brick one, which is fabulous. Love that one. And then this diamond shaped one, which is also very versatile. And then this really pretty, I don't know what you call that, medallion kind of look. So that's really cool too. Okay, so you get all 4 of those in a package. And these are great for, you can sponge, you can brayer, which we're gonna do today. You can use embossing paste, you can use mist. There's a ton of ways that you can use this. Okay, all right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to do the pool party layer. So this layer, now where's my notebook with my little cheat sheet with my dimensions? Now everything's all in the wrong spot. Okay, pool party is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And I'm just going to set this down on here, position my clouds where I want them, and then I'm going to use a sponge brayer. So these sponges, you can wash them and they just pop out and you can change them out. So it comes with 1 handle and I believe 2 of these little sponge brayer things. And we're gonna use Pool Party ink, so I'm doing tone on tone. Now I have blue all over my hands. And what you wanna do when you ink it, let's see how much you can see, okay. So you don't wanna just ink like this. You want to make sure that you pick it up so that you're inking the whole, like all the way around and not just a section of the brayer, okay? So I'm gonna ink that up. And then I'm just gonna hold the stencil in place. You can use a little bit of washi tape or temporary adhesive as well. And I'm just going to brayer back and forth. And you'll notice that I start off of the stencil and then I end off of the stencil as well. And that just prevents getting lines from where you're stopping and starting. So I'll just go over it. I don't want them too dark. I think that looks good. So it doesn't really look like much, but watch when you lift it up. Isn't that nice? And it's such a simple way to create a background. So we're gonna do that on there, and then we're gonna do it, I'm gonna try something a little bit different on the envelope. I'm going to do just the top portion of the envelope. So rather than all the way like I did on the sample that I showed you guys, I'm just going to do the top part. So I've got a scrap piece that I'm covering. Let's make sure we got the envelope going the right way. Covering the bottom half of the envelope. Actually, it's probably a little bit more than half that I'm covering. And then let's just tuck this underneath here like this. And then we're just gonna do the exact same thing. So I'm just gonna brayer across. There we go. And now we've got some clouds along the top of the envelope. So now the envelope is done, and then I want to do the inside because I really like how the inside turned out. So I've got a layer of white cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to put this across here. Okay, we've got lots of people that are joining in. Today we're creating a fun little spinner card using the Postcard Pals stamp set from Stampin' Up. Super fun. Okay, so now I'm going to brayer. Oh no! There we go. Okay, let's hold this time. Okay, so now we've got the top of the inside done as well. Okay, so we've got all our brayering done, so we can move these guys out of the way, and we'll get the ink out of the way. And I should have grabbed a baby wipe because my hands are all blue now. Let's just wipe them on my jeans. Okay, so now we are going to do our stamping. So I always like to have a scrap piece underneath when I go to color. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to use Memento ink, and then, oh, sorry. And then this is the stamp set that we're using. It's Postcard Pals, and it's got the most adorable images in it. This cute little otter that's holding a little letter, the pelican with a little fish in his beak, and then the little platypus. They're just adorable, and the sayings in them are really cute as well. Okay, so we are going to use the Pelican. And the reason I chose this image was because it's the smallest image out of the three, and a spinner card tends to work better with something that is a bit more symmetrical. Like, I had a hard time, I had to reposition this several times because when I stood the card up, the Pelican kept going upside down. So I will explain how I did it. You can see now that even it has to be in a certain spot. So it works better if this was punched on a circle, but it is quite a large image. But I had to use this stamp set. I just love this stamp set. And I had an idea in my head, and I just wanted to recreate it. Okay, so that's why I chose the Pelican. One of the reasons why I chose the Pelican. So I'm going to ink him up using Memento ink. And I'm using Memento ink because I'm going to stamp or color using my Stampin' Blends. And when you color with Stampin' Blends or any other alcohol markers, you need to use Memento ink. Okay, so I just stamped that guy right in the middle of a 3x3 piece of white cardstock. And we'll move that out of the way. And then we're going to start coloring him in. I'm not going to color the whole thing because you don't need to watch me. Hey, hi Angie. You don't need to watch me color, but I am going to color a little bit because I want to show you how I color using Stampin' Blends. Now, there's no right or wrong way, and there's a lot of different ways. Actually, in the demonstrator event that I did last night, one of my friends, Lorna, was explaining how she designed her make and take and how she colored it, and she likes to start with the dark, and her coloring is beautiful. But I prefer to start with the light. So what I do, like I said, it's just basically you just try different things and see what works best for you. So I'm using my light daffodil Stampin' Blend. So these are alcohol markers. And I'm lightly coloring his beak. And I don't go too close to the edges, especially with this first layer. And sometimes I'll leave white space as well. So can you guys see that little bit of white space? And I don't worry about consistent, even coverage at this point, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with my darkest color, which is the darkest color that I'm using for his beak is light Cajun Craze. And Cajun Craze is one of the colors that is coming out in the holiday catalog. So it's available to demonstrators right now, but it's not available to customers until September 5th. So now I'm just going, just kind of where these little lines are to show where the shadows are. Okay, now that looks like quite the contrast, but don't worry about that right now. And you can see I didn't go right close to the edge. It's not very consistent or smooth or even, but we will get to that point. And then I will go with my next darkest color, which is dark pumpkin pie. And I'm gonna go back and just blend a little bit of that darkest color. And just a touch. So this will be where I kind of fill in some of those spots. And you will find that Stampin' Blends bleed a little bit, so I try not to go too close to the edge because it will bleed into the edge. And then I'm gonna go with my light pumpkin pie, which is the next darkest color. And again, just blend in to that light yellow and add maybe a little bit more on here. A little bit more up here. Okay. And then I'm gonna go in with my dark Daffodil Delight, and again, just blend just a little bit more. So I'm really just kind of going over where I just went with that light pumpkin pie. And then I'm gonna go back to my lightest color, and this is where I will blend it all in together to make it look like it's meant to be. And this is where I'll also color over that white space. You can, sometimes with some colors, you can leave it white and it looks quite good. Okay, so now I'm just going over all of that and blending all of the layers together. And I feel like I need a little bit more dark just right along here, right in here, because this would probably be a darker spot. There'd be a few more shadows in there, so I'll add a little bit more dark there. Okay, so there we go. We've got his beak colored in, and then I will go back and add a little bit something, do one more thing to that beak in a bit. But now let's do his, let me show you how I colored his body. So you can see, I mean, a pelican is normally white, but I wanted to add a few more highlights, and I didn't have my light smoky slate at the time, so I didn't add it on here, but let me show you the difference. So I'm going to take my light smoky slate, and again, just along these lines where you can see that the shadows are, just using a really light touch. And a little bit in here. Oh, that was his sweater. That's okay. I'm coloring it in Bermuda Bay anyway, so it's going to be covered over. Okay, and then I'm going to use, this is our color lifter. So this is good for a couple things. You can use this if you go outside the lines. It's almost like a color pusher where you can color and push the color back into where it goes, or if it bleeds off the edge. So here you can see, I don't know if you can see that, just right there, I kind of went out of the lines, or it bled out of the lines a little bit. So I'm going to start here and just push that color back in, and it will push it back in. So it's almost like, it's more like a color pusher than an eraser. It doesn't really erase it, it just kind of pushes the color back into where it's supposed to be. But it also helps, you can use it to lighten. So here, now that this is dry, I want this to be just a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to color over that, and that just adds a little bit of a highlight. So it removes some of the ink as well. And then the other thing I'm going to do is where I colored that smoky slate, is I'm just going to go over that with my color lifter, and it kind of blends it a little bit as well. Okay, so now if you look at the two, actually I'll show you my finished one too. If you look at the two, it is a subtle difference, but it just adds a little bit of shading to the pelican. Okay, so whereas this one doesn't have any of the shading. The other thing that I did was, I think pelicans, their under feathers are a little bit darker. So what I did is I just kind of colored these little feathers right here. I did those with the dark smoky slate and then went back with the light smoky slate and colored those in so that it was a little darker. Okay, so now, so those are just a few tips when you're using the Stampin' Blends. And then here's the finished one that is cut out. So you can see here, let's pull the original one. So the one that I didn't have the marker to color, you can see that just adding that little bit of smoky slate and coloring those under feathers, it just adds so much more depth and dimension to it than just leaving it white. Okay, so that's enough for coloring for now. I don't want to bore you guys. Okay, let's move on to our card. I'll finish coloring that later. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take our layer of Pool Party, and remember this measured 3 3/4 by 5, and we're going to use the classic label punch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to slide it all the way in as far as it goes and put it in the center and punch one of those. Then I'm going to move it over, and I'm going to line the edge of the punch up with the edge of the cardstock. And again, sliding it all the way in so that I get a perfect track going all the way across. And then I'll do the same on this side. So slide it over to the edge of the cardstock, all the way in, and punch. So now we've got a nice big long track for it to spin. Okay, if you don't have this classic label punch, you can also use, if you've been with Stampin' Up! For a long time and you have the word window punch, the word window punch works beautifully as well. Okay, so now let's get this guy out of the way. And then I'm going to take another piece of Whisper White cardstock. So remember we did this, we did the clouds on here, but that's for the inside of the card. So I've got another piece that measures the same, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm gonna line this up just like this, and I'm gonna do my stamping. So you can see on the original sample, I've got just a little note to say. So I've got my Memento ink, and take this guy off of there. And actually, let's do sending birthday wishes. Okay, so I'll line that up on my block. I always, always, always like to, now that I lined that up, I moved it, look at that. I always like to stamp my greetings on scrap paper first to make sure that they are on straight. And I don't know if that is because the paper is crooked. No, that is really crooked. Let's try that, see if that's better. Okay, all right, so now let's line this up again. So I'm lining it up. I don't want to stick it down yet. I try not to stick anything down until I've done all my stamping, because that way I can just flip it over if it doesn't work. So I've got it lined up, and I'm going to stamp this right inside that track. Make sure I've got it going the right way, and I apologize if my head's in the way here. It fits perfectly right in there. Okay, so we've got our sending birthday wishes. Actually, while I've got this out, let's do the inside as well. Give that a clean. Okay, so then the inside of the card is going to say, what does it say here? It says, hope your day is filled with fun and lots of happy surprises. So again, I'm going to stamp this on my scrap. That looks pretty good. We'll move this out of the way. I'll bring in my centerpiece. Stamp that on there. Okay. And now let's get back to constructing our spinner card. Okay, so what you need is a couple of either pennies or little washers. Zoom out a bit or move your work closer to the code. That would be super awesome. Okay, so move it up here. Okay. Is that better, Shara? Can't see your card, just your stamp head. Okay, all right, it's too low. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so in case you missed it, so what I did was I stamped the greeting in between the track, and then what you need is you need 2 pennies. And so I've got this little dish. Whenever I come across pennies, there's actually a lot of US pennies in here, but even when in Canada we don't use pennies anymore. So when we discontinued the use, I knew that I would still be creating spinner cards. So kind of whenever I find a penny, it goes into that little dish. But like I said, if you don't want to use pennies, you can also use little washers that you can get at the hardware store. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a penny here and kind of center it, and then put a little dimensional. You can use either standard size or mini dimensionals, and peel off the backing, and then I'm going to put another penny right on top of there. Okay, so that is going to create our little spinner device. Okay, but because that penny adds quite a bit of dimension, what we need to do on the back is we need to do a double layer of dimensionals, because you don't want anything in the way so that that penny doesn't spin nicely. So I do 2 layers of dimensionals. So you want to do that on all 4 sides. And then I do one, I do one extra layer. Okay, so this idea, I've been busy doing last minute preparations for this event that was yesterday and tonight. And so I was laying in bed on Thursday night and I had no idea what I was going to do for my Facebook Live on Friday. I knew I wanted to use this step because it's just so adorable. And so I was laying in bed and Marcel was already asleep. I wanted to ask him what he thought I should do because I always just bounce ideas off of him. And so I thought to myself, what would Marcel say if he was awake? And I knew his answer is always a spinner card. It's always a spinner card. He loves spinner cards. He just thinks that they're the coolest kind of card because they're kind of fun and interactive. And we've done several for his colleagues over the years in different themes. We've done basketball themes. We've done snowball fights, all sorts of different cards, spinner cards. So you saw that I put another one here. I like to put another double layer here so that it doesn't get squished down, so that it keeps that lift there so that it spins nicely on the track. Okay, so yeah, so I thought about that while he was sleeping and I thought, okay, I'm going to do a spinner card. And then I started thinking, okay, I want to use the Postcard Pals, but I wasn't sure if the images would work and all that. And so I remembered that there were 3 different images, and then I remembered that the Pelican has on aviator, like an aviator helmet and goggles, and I thought it would be so cute if I did clouds in the background and had him, you know, kind of spinning through the sky. So that's where the idea came from. So I guess you could say that this card was somewhat inspired by my husband. All right, so for my card base, I've got a piece of Bermuda Bay that measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and then it's scored at 4.25 inches. So it's still just a standard size card. I'm gonna flip this over and use my fast fuse. You could probably stick this down before you put that top layer on and you wouldn't have all those dimensionals, but it works either way. Okay, so stick that in the center and then let's do the inside. Okay, so we'll do that in the center here. Okay, and then to stick our Pelican on. Now, the first time I did it, I stuck a couple mini glue dots on his body and put it here. And that's when, remember I said when you stood the card up, he just kept falling upside down. So he wouldn't stand up. So I played around with the positioning and I found for this particular image, the best place is right about here. So right about where his beak is where you want to stick him on. And you want to make sure that you can't see the penny in behind. Okay, so I'm going to use mini glue dots because they're nice and sturdy. And I'll use 2 of them. Let's put them, we'll put them on the penny. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we'll put 2 or 3 on the penny and that will hold it nicely. And then I'll position him on here. Just like that. And then let's see if it works. Okay, remember it wouldn't work when I had it flat, so we'll do it. It does! I hope you guys can see, I hope you guys can see that. Can you see it? Oh, and now he's not there. Come on. There we go. Okay, I must say that he did spin a little bit better when the pennies were on his body than on his beak. There we go. Okay, so it's a bit finicky. Honestly, it does work and it looks really good. It works really, really well when it's like a circular image or a symmetrical image. Because this is not very symmetrical, I think that's why it's not spinning the best. But it's a super cute card and I love it. And I think the little boy that I'm going to send it to will love it too. And like I said, it's so easy. I mean, even if you don't have this classic label punch or even the word window punch, you can create a track using just an X-Acto knife and a ruler. Let me grab a ruler and I'll measure. As long as it is it's probably about 1/2 inch. Oh, not quite. It's about 3/8 of an inch. So you can even do that using an X-Acto knife and a ruler and create that track. It doesn't have to have these points on the end. It can just be a rectangular shape. So super, super fun card for today. And because I used that stamp set, I wanted to talk a little bit about my current class in the mail, which uses the Postcard Pals stamp set. And we will be creating, it's only available until August 30th. We will be creating 4 cards using this stamp set. I don't want to show them all because they're kind of exclusive to class in the mail participants or people who buy the tutorial. But this is just a little peek. I mean, I guess you can see all of that one. A little peek of what the cards look like. Like I said, that is available to order until August 30th. If you're in Canada, there are 2 different options. There's option 1, which includes the Postcard Pals stamp set and a package of twinkle adhesive back sequins and all the pre-cut supplies to create 4 adorable cards and step-by-step instructions and a link to a video. And that option is $50. And option 2 is if you already own the stamp set, then you can choose option 2 and you'll get the twinkle adhesive back sequence, all the pre-cut supplies, and the step-by-step instructions, link to a video, and that class fee is $30. And then you have the option for either one of those options to add the watercolor pencils in assortment 2, so the new watercolor pencils for only $17, and you save shipping and GST on that. If you are not in Canada and want to participate, then I do have a tutorial option that is available to purchase. You can find that on my blog under the tutorials. I can also link that in below on the YouTube video after I repost this. And that option is $20. And option 4 is for my treasure stampers, so people who are on my team. You can receive all the pre-cut supplies and the instructions to create this for just $15. Okay, so I will post a link in the the comments on Facebook for this video. If you are interested in that, I'll post a link to the blog post that has all of the information. All right, so thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend, and we'll see you next Friday, hopefully minus all the technical problems that we had today. All right, thanks for watching.